Yes, there will be many more reboots to come. We're seeing it happening every year now. A brilliant, great franchise gets rebooted. And you're thinking to yourself, damn, why would you want to reboot that movie? It was a brilliant series, and now you want to try and make it better? People didn't like Total Recall last year. Totally, a lot of people didn't like that film. And my personal opinion about that Total Recall film was, I think the problem was they shouldn't have called it Total Recall. They should have just called it something totally different. But they decided to go for Total Recall, and they wanted to make this version better. Now, I'm not against that version of Total Recall. In fact, I was probably one of the many people that liked it. But I just didn't see it as a Total Recall film. I just could not see it as a Total Recall film. Just no way. But I did like it. Now the problem is, this is going to keep on happening because I reckon they'll probably reboot Total Recall again. They don't care. But it's going to get to the point now where people are going to get fed up with remakes, reboots, and they're going to decide to make their own films. And it's happening already. People are making their own fan films. Okay, some of them might be very short, maybe 10 minutes or so. But it's going to get to that point where people are going to get on Kickstarter and they're just going to make their own films, whether it be Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, etc. And speaking of Street Fighter, there's two guys that are going to be making a series. I think it's called Assassin's Fist. But yeah, that's what it's going to be, like a series. These two guys. So they're just on Kickstarter right now, getting it sorted out. But my point is that people are going to get so fed up of Hollywood that they're just going to start making their own films of what they want to see. From X-Men to Spider-Man, people will start doing that. And my personal opinion as well about the Spider-Man series, like, I like The Amazing Spider-Man, but I really thought that it should have been Spider-Man number 4, really, personally, rather than go back to the beginning. It just seems that Hollywood prefers to go back to the beginning and do this trilogy and just keep doing that. Where I feel it's better to just develop the story and keep it going. The same way they did with Fast and Furious. That's the best way to do it. Just story after story, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Rather than say, hey, let's do 3 films and now let's go back to the beginning. Another 3 films, go back to the beginning. There's no development in the movie stories because it's always going back to the beginning. And sometimes it's cool because maybe sometimes a franchise does need a reboot, but a lot of the times I think it's just better to carry it on. There's nothing wrong with that, just carrying it on. But they just have to work on the way they're going to carry it on. Like, you know, just be more creative and just think how to carry it on. Because that's what I felt they should have done with the new Spider-Man film. But, you know, I still enjoy it nevertheless. But people, yeah, they're getting really fed up with remakes from what I've seen on comments and stuff like that on videos. And the problem is as well, too much over-flooding of, like, these comic book films all at the same time, etc. I mean, it's cool that we can finally get these movies out now, but I think sometimes you've got to slow down and bring more new ideas to the table, which would be great. Because then it gives the audience a break a little bit. And another thing I noticed that people, they're not really happy with, especially with a character like Deadpool, for example, is that Fox doesn't want to bring it out because they feel like it's going to get, you know, it's not going to work because basically it's going to be R-rated and it's not going to sell, etc. So they prefer to make it PG-13. So they don't really know how to work with it. Whereas the fans, they don't give a damn. They just want it to be an R-rated film. But Fox are like, no, we ain't going to do that. And that's another thing, right? With R-rated films, as time goes on, people are going to get scared to make these R-rated films. So that's where I feel like the industry is becoming more restricted rather than more open. Now I understand, you know, it's going to make so much money if they make PG-13 films. That's cool. I got nothing against PG-13 films. But what I'm saying is there should also be a space for R-rated films. Now I might do another video about how I feel about the concepts of R-rated films and just about filmmaking in general. So that's one thing to think about. I'm just going off the point here because I just go into a total different direction when I start talking about this kind of thing. So how do you feel about all these remakes and reboots? How do you feel? That's it. I'm out.